Longtime Genovese Crime Family mobster Frank Farby Serpico allegedly hated the fact that he shared the same name as the New York police officer made famous in a 1973 Al Pacino movie. Let's check him out. I'm James Gladwish and welcome to OC Shorts, bringing you detailed historical snapshots of the American Mafia and other organised crime. Feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. Today, we're going to take a quick look at longtime Genovese Crime Family mobster Frank Farby Serpico. Frank Farby Serpico was born on August 11th, 1916 in Corona, Queens. In the early part of his life, he lived at 11026 Corona Avenue in Queens. In 1933, at the age of 17, Frank Serpico was sentenced to 2.5 to 5 years in Sing Sing prison for robbery. As one newspaper stated, two youths who halted their trial in County Court, Queens, to plead guilty on robbery charges were given Sing Sing terms when they appeared before Judge Thomas Downs for sentence. The thugs, captured after a chase which police ended in a dead-end street in Elmhurst, admitting robbing Jacob Gittleman and his wife Florence of $180 at the front door of their home, 9462 Corona Avenue, Corona, Queens. Mario Riccardi, 20, of 4205 108th Street, Corona, was given a flat 5-year term as a second offender, and Frank Serpico, 17, of 11036 Corona Avenue, was given a term of 2.5 to 5 years. Both admitted the robbery charge, although Gittleman and his wife testified they were unable to identify the pair. In 1943, at the age of 27, Frank Serpico was charged with selling fake gas coupons. As one newspaper reported, Frank Serpico, 27, of 11026 Corona Avenue, Corona, was arraigned today before United States Commissioner Epstein in the Brooklyn Federal Building on a charge of possession and sale of counterfeit gasoline ration coupons. He pleaded innocent and was held in $2,500 bail for action by the federal grand jury. The complaint against Serpico, signed by John Grennan, Secret Service agent, alleged that between February the 1st and April the 15th, Serpico had sold counterfeit coupons. Farby Serpico would serve around 2 years after his conviction. Frank Serpico had a brother called Ralph, who was also involved in a life of crime. It is unclear when exactly Frank Serpico was inducted into what we now call the Genovese Crime Family, but it was most probably between the period from 1954 to 1957. Frank Serpico would serve as a soldier in the Genovese Crime Family's famous 116th Street Crew, under longtime captain Michael Trigger Mike Coppola. Other notable crew members included the likes of Philip Benny Squint Lombardo, Anthony Fat Tony Salerno, Anthony Buckaloo Farrow, Joseph Joe Stretch Strachey, Frank Lavorsi, and Charles Charlie Bullets Albero. Frank Serpico would run a numbers operation and a large floating dice game in Harlem. As one FBI file states, subject is believed to control almost all policy operations in the 25th precinct. Operation is centered primarily in vicinity of 2nd and 3rd Avenues, from 120th to 125th Streets. He is suspected of having close ties with Genovese Katina crime family. He was mentioned in the recent Knapp Commission hearings. He operates large-scale dice games in Harlem area. The same FBI document would list Frank Serpico's numerous aliases. They included Farby, Frank Napolitano, Frank Russo, Frank Serpico, Frank Chureka, Vara. The file states that he was 5'8" in height, weighing 185 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair. In the late 1960s, an undercover police officer who shared the same name, Frank Serpico, reported evidence of extensive police corruption. This led to a front-page story in the New York Times in 1970, and then the creation of the Knapp Commission, a panel dedicated to investigating police corruption. In 1973, the movie Serpico, starring Al Pacino, was released, documenting police officer Frank Serpico's investigations. Coincidentally, in 1971, Genevese mobster Frank Farby Serpico was linked with police corruption involving payoffs in the Harlem area. This led to policeman William Phillips to state, "Farby's hot as a firecracker," he said, referring to a known gambler. "I'll lock him up as fast as anybody else if they tell me to lock him up." One newspaper would also state, "The official said Serpico is no relation to the police informer of the same name." Some sources state the Genovese crime family soldier Frank Farby Serpico hated the fact that he shared the same name as the famous undercover police officer. Frank Serpico's nephew, also called Frank Farby Serpico, had also become a made man in the Genovese crime family, and would also serve in the 116th Street Crew. The younger Frank Serpico would allegedly go on to become acting captain of that crew at some point, as well as being promoted to acting boss of the Genovese family in 1998. Under his time as acting boss, he allegedly ordered the murder of Ralph Coppola, the close friend of future family boss Liborio Barney Bellomo. Ralph Coppola was suspected of skimming money from the crime family. The original Frank Farby Serpico would go on to have a low-key criminal career until he passed away in 1993. His nephew of the same name died in 2002. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.